All right, hi, this is day one of our May challenge, the permission slip. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Cools. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, certified sex therapist, and I have a PhD in clinical sexology. Okay, so the presentation is part of Pattern Breaker Society. So, in this membership, we identify core dating patterns, understand what's driving our patterns, recognize red flags and emotional triggers, and then start building self trust so you can listen to your gut. All right. So, in this month's challenge, we are talking about the permission slip. Ignore the desire reset from the last presentation. But it is the permission slip. We're going to talk about the fact that you do not need to be fully healed to be out there, to be dating. A lot of times it's just an avoidance. So for day one, it's about progress, not perfection plan. In day two is when we do a lot of exercises and tools. And then day three, it's creating your permission plan. So kind of how to ground yourself when you get activated and then start kind of avoiding the dating process again. All right, so your job is to just watch the lesson, complete the assignments, engage with the community. All right, the workbook sorry, let me go back. The workbook, if you are on school or on my website, will be in the classroom portal. If you are watching this on YouTube or email, you would need to join the free community to get free access to the workbook. Obviously, I can't attach that to those places. All right, let us begin. So, this month's challenge, we're going to get a clear understanding of why waiting until you're healed may actually be holding you back. You're going to learn practical tools and real language for dating with intention while still doing your inner work. We're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to create a micro boundary map tailored to where you are right now, and scripts for honest, grounded, early stage dating conversations. And then you're going to write your own dating while healing permission slip and personal plan. All right. Today, we're going to start at the root, the belief that you have to be fully healed before you're worthy of love. You will understand why that belief has been keeping you stuck, what it really means to date from a place of self awareness versus avoidance. All right. So, you're going to dismantle the myth that you have to be fully healed before you're lovable. You're going to explore the emotional cost of waiting for a finish line that always moves, because healing is not a finite place. Like, we're always going to be healing and evolving as humans. So this idea of I have to wait till I'm fully healed before I start living life or dating is very problematic. You're going to understand the difference between dating from alignment versus dating to be fixed. And then we're going to introduce the concept of that inner permission slip. And you're going to write your first one. Oops, sorry. Thank God that was empty. All right, quick check-in. Let me know if you've ever said any of the following to yourself. I just need to heal a little more before I start dating. I don't want to bring my baggage into someone else's life. I'll be ready once I figured out my anxiety, attachment style, past relationship. I don't want to hurt anyone while I'm still a mess. If that is you, raise your hand. All right, so this really is a myth. It comes from the story that we've been sold that love is a reward for self improvement. I do believe it's glorified on social media, this I worked on myself and now I'm ready narrative. While I appreciate, therapy being more mainstream, I do think that sometimes it does reinforce this idea that, like, you need to stop everything and heal first, and then you're able to date, or go and find love. I do think that there is a lot of healing via relationships. And it's better to do the work, honestly, as someone who works with a lot of people dealing with love, sex, and relationships. It is a lot easier to find those trigger points, to work on those wounds when they're actively dating, because we're able to see it in real time. We're able to learn what those triggers are. We're able to dive into where that comes from versus we're talking about something really theoretical. And, let's say they complete the program, complete therapy, and then they go out there and now they realize, like, we missed something or we didn't realize something. But it's just better to do it while you have that support from a clinician, from a group, um, versus waiting until after. Okay. So the result is a lot of women, and I'm saying women because Pattern Breaker Society is for women, but obviously this is gender neutral. But it's for a lot of people sitting on the sidelines of their own love lives, just waiting for a version of themselves that may never come in the sense of them feeling complete, right? All right. So healing is not linear. It has no finish line. There is no version of you that will ever feel like 100% ready. And I say this like anxiety or cause for pause will always happen whenever we're putting ourselves in a new situation or in a vulnerable situation. We're going to be a little scared, and that's okay. So it's never going to actually feel like 100%. Waiting is a choice, it's a decision, and it does have a cost. And we'll talk more about that. All right, the emotional trap of waiting. So, what waiting actually costs you? So, isolation, right? So, you've been doing the inner work when connection could actually accelerate your healing, right? So, if the wound is relational, a lot of times the healing also has to be relational. And I think that's something that a lot of us miss. Misconnections, real meaningful relationships that you passed on because the timing, quote unquote, wasn't right. Okay. A shrinking window. The longer you wait, the more the fear grows and the harder it feels to start. So, for example, I think a lot of people, at least that I come in contact with, they will start dating, they will lose a connection or for whatever reason, and then they will stop because they're really disappointed. And then they'll wait a year, months before they start dating again. And the longer they wait, the more scared they become, the more anxiety induced it becomes. And then they put themselves out there again. And then the first time it doesn't work out, they need another 3-month break. It's not helpful. It is perfectionism disguised as self awareness. Just being responsible can sometimes be fear in a very convincing outfit. So if you can relate to any of these, let me know which one hits closest to home. All right. There are two different ways to date. There's being aligned, and then there's trying to be fixed. So, dating to be fixed is looking for someone to complete you. It is dependent on validation to feel okay. And of course, validation is good, but we should feel okay. We shouldn't get all of our validation externally. When we get attracted to potential and not the reality, when we are terrified of being too much, when we perform being healed when we're actually still hurting. Alignment is showing up already knowing your worth, including the things that you're struggling with, right? Using dating as connection, not confirmation. It is grounded in self awareness and honest needs, and is willing to be seen even imperfectly. And then communicating with your needs with honesty and with boundaries. All right. So, what does dating from alignment actually look like? So, knowing your value, what you need, and what you're still working through, and being honest about all of it. Choosing people who complement your life, not complete it. That is problematic. To just date someone because you want to feel complete. Being able to say, I'm still healing this area, or I have this wound, or, you know, I went through X, Y, and Z without shame. Having boundaries that come from self knowledge, not from fear, understanding your triggers and knowing what to do when they show up on a date or in a relationship. I do want to just add, like, it's not someone else's responsibility to manage your triggers or not do something just because it triggers you, because I've seen that be like weaponized. Um, yes, you can share that you get triggered by certain things, but ultimately it is your responsibility to know your triggers and to manage them, right? Okay. Dating from alignment, what it does not mean. Having zero baggage, we all have baggage. Never getting triggered, we all get triggered. Being emotionally available 100% of the time, that's just not going to happen. We have capacities, people. Having all the answers about what you want, sometimes it's trial and error, right? So you may be like, I want somebody who's like really sweet, and really caring and really giving. And so you meet the most lovely person who, maybe it doesn't work and maybe they have no career ambitions, but they are very nice and they are very sweet. But maybe they don't contribute financially to the household the way that you want them to. And sometimes you won't know that until trial and error, right? On the other hand, it could be that you wanted someone who is really financially free. And so maybe they have all of the money in the world, but that emotional intelligence and connection is not there. So there's certain things that, we learn through time. So think to yourself, what's one thing you already know about yourself that makes you more prepared for love than you actually give yourself credit for? Because I do find people are more ready than they think to get out there. All right, permission slips, what and why? So, an inner permission slip is a statement you give yourself that says, I'm enough right now to participate in dating and love and relationships. It is not toxic positivity or pretending that everything is fine. It is a conscious, compassionate choice to stop letting fear and perfectionism make all of your decisions. It is the antidote to being in the waiting room. And too many of us are in the waiting room. Examples: I don't have it all together to deserve a good relationship. Being in therapy doesn't make me a liability, it makes me self-aware. These are examples of permission slips, right? I'm allowed to want companionship even when I'm still figuring things out. My past doesn't disqualify me from a healthy future. I can take things slow without owing anyone an explanation. And you could make your own. All right, so this is in the workbook more detailed, but for those of you looking at it elsewhere, take some time and journal to these questions, getting honest about what you've been waiting for before allowing yourself to show up, right? Where did this belief come from? This I'm not ready story. Dating from alignment, getting specific about what that actually looks like for you. So what is in alignment for me may not be in alignment for you. So this is not a one size fits all situation. And then you're going to write your own permission slip. All right. So today we talked about the myth that you have to be fully healed before you're lovable, why that's not true, the real emotional cost of waiting for a finish line that keeps moving, the difference between dating to be fixed and dating from alignment, and what inner permission slips are and why they're the antidote to the waiting room. All right. That's all. If you have any questions, comments, emails, post in the community if you're a member. I'll see you all next time. Bye.